Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's FQ Metro, and nearly said Football Brisbane, FQ Metro edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name's Darren Lutton, and the finals, you can smell them, can't you? They're that far away. All right, let's talk some football. We've got some guests in tonight. Let's run through them all. We don't have a Brisbane Men's Premier League guest tonight, but we'll get by. From the Brisbane Women's Premier League, we've got the Premiership winning coach, Cristobal Soto. G'day, Chris.
Hi, guys. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Great to have you on board. Now, in Capital League 1, we've got Chris Nelson from Moggill. G'day, Chris.
Hey, Darren. How you going?
Good, mate. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Capital League 2, we are stacked. We've got Scott Harney again, who is, of course, the president at Springfield United.
Hello, mate.
And from Bardon, Latrobe, we've got Gilbert Albertson. G'day, Gil.
Hey, Darren.
Good to have you with us, mate. And Cap 3, we are empty. So let's start with the Brisbane Men's Premier League. Well, they call it the Business Plaza Brisbane Premier League. All right. So I actually went to a game on the weekend. I saw the second half of Toowong up against Brisbane Knights. And it was a 2-1 win for Toowong. Toowong looked very, let's just say, they played within themselves. They did what they had to do to get the win. Brisbane Knights, what a frustrating team to watch. They have got some fantastic players within their squad, and they show flashes of brilliance. Flash here, flash there. You think, wow, what a team. And then skill error, flash of brilliance, skill error. Must be very frustrating for their coach. You can see if these guys can just cut out their errors, they're going to be a good side for the future. So I hope they stick around. I hope they work on their game and iron out all those, just those little technical issues that are holding them back. And if they can do so, they're going to be climbing up the ladder in no time. All right. So we, of course, know that Albany Creek have won the league, but the interest is in 4th and 5th place. So St. George Willawong are currently on 35 points. Toowong are on 32. Both have played 20 games, and I make it there's 2 matches left. So let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. If I can get them up, here we go. That's not it. Round 21. There we go. All right, so Bayside up against the Gap. Acacia Ridge taking on Centenary Stormers. Toowong up against UQFC. Big game for Toowong. Albany Creek taking on Mount Gravatt. Brisbane Knights hosting the Lakes. And St. George up against Western Spirit. Understand St. George are playing a game tonight up against, how's my memory? I think they're playing Albany Creek. Is that right? Let me just quickly check that. Yes, they are. And it's halftime, and Albany Creek are up 1-0. So there you go. All right. So anything else? Yes. Toowong up against UQ. And St. George up against Western Spirit on the weekend. So if St. George can win out, they'll retain 4th spot. If they drop points, they'll open the door for Toowong. All right, that's our Premier League chat for now. Let's get to the Brisbane Women's Premier League. And Chris, congratulations, mate. 20 games played, 17 wins, 3 draws, no losses. It's been a great season.
Yeah, well, we are so happy. I know it's a lot of helping here. You know, we have Chris really, that is a really good coordinator of the woman program here. I'm my assistant coach with Michael and then the reserve coach, Paulo. We are doing a great job, and the women understand what we want to do with them. And yeah, we are so lucky to have a really good team.
What changes? I mean, you've only taken over the team this season. What changes did you make to the squad or to the playing style to just get them that little bit, get that little bit of extra improvement out of them?
Well, was funny because they didn't understand me, because of course I cannot speak good English, but I went and I find the system to get the style that I want to play with them, and they understand well. And yeah, I think we just try to change a little bit the style, just try to play football, have the ball and enjoy, right?
Yeah, for sure. And when you're winning games, it's certainly enjoyable, isn't it?
No, that's so good, so good. This last Saturday was amazing. A lot of people support the women's team, so we are so happy. Yeah.
I was actually at the match against UQ up against Stanley, which was a draw on the weekend. UQ are in 5th place at the moment, just 1 point behind Kangaroo Point Rovers, coming into the final round. So UQ need Kangaroo KPR to drop points, and they need to win themselves, because on goal difference, yes, it won't be enough for them. So UQ need to win, Kangaroo Point Rovers need to draw or lose. So let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. And guess who UQ are playing? KPR. So big game there, Chris. So who do you think is going to get that 4th spot?
Well, you never know in this league or whatever. You know, you never know really. Like UQ is a really good side. Even Kangaroo, sometimes they can surprise you, right? So yeah, like will be interesting game. Interesting, yeah. So no, will be so good to watch and see what happens.
Of course, you've got a local derby on the weekend, taking on Robina.
Yep.
I've seen Robina quite a few times this season. I think they're an excellent side, very well structured team.
Yeah, it's always difficult to play with them. Yeah, they are strong and they really want to win all the games, right? Like, and they have a good players too, right? It's good coach too, so they doing good. And yeah, we have to do what we're doing and try to do it the best way what we can do, right?
Have they been your toughest opponents this season?
Well, I think AC Carina been hard with us, and Anele, one game was really good. And look, we just winning 2-1, so it always is kind of closer, like closer games, It's a good competition. We just lucky that we have a really good players and they are doing good.
I hope I said that the match that I went to was Annerley up against UQ. That was the game that I went to. I might have said another team there. I do apologise if I did. Looking at the other fixtures, AC Carina up against Grange Thistle and the Lakes taking on Annerley. So there we go. Given that you're in your position that you're in now, is it just the focus on remaining undefeated for the regular season?
Well, we are focusing more in that final with the Ilani Cup in 2nd of October.
Yes, the Watson Cup.
Yeah, we are against UQ.
You are?
So we are focusing in that, and then to the semifinals with, I don't know, at the moment, can be Robina, can be Kangaroo Point or UQ, right? Mm. So we are focusing that. We are training about, and of course, we want to get our best against Robina, right? We want to win that game anyway.
For sure.
Yeah. But yes.
And what about next season for your team, Matt? Will you be going up higher up the ladder and being in the FQPL?
FQPL 2. Yes, we will do FQPL 2. So we will start soon to get more players, like interesting and start to working as soon as we can, right?
For sure. Sounds great. All right, Chris, thank you for that chat. Please stick around if you've got the time, but if you do need to go, you're more than welcome to do so. All right, let's switch now to Village Law Capital League 1. We've got Chris Nelson in with us. Chris, you had a game last night, did you not?
We did, yes, we did.
It was up against Ripley, wasn't it?
It was.
That right? And
we
drew?
won. No,
we
won. Yeah. 3-2.
3-2. I must have missed that final full-time score because...
there was some errors in the broadcast of whatever wherever you find your scores. I get my scores off like some app I found, and it was wrong. So we had a few interesting messages coming through the social media from people all over the world asking what the final score was, which is always interesting. Some nice, some not so nice.
So you operate
Those who know, know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So what was the worst bit of abuse that you got?
Oh, I don't want to repeat it. It's pretty nasty. Something to do with my family, I think. Yeah, no, that can be pretty nasty because, yeah, who knows what goes on over there. But for some reason, some people like to know what goes on in Brisbane local league football. So, yeah, no, very glad with the win because Ripley are a tough team. But I don't know what was going on with those guys. I think Pato was away with something. He wasn't there. And their team was probably a little bit low on their normal numbers. So glad to get a win. We're up 2-0 with 20 to go and almost choked it. But, yeah, good to get 2 wins on the trot because we put Slacks away last week pretty comfortably. So 2 wins on the trot now. And, yeah, if everything goes right, we can even sneak up into that 5th spot, I think, if with a win on the weekend against Logan and if Ripley drop points.
All right. So, yes, it is a tight battle there for the semi-final places and at the top for that matter. So it's a 20-round competition.
Yeah.
Yes? Yes. All right. So Annalee are done. They've played their games. They're 9th. Newmarket on top by 3 points with 1 match remaining over Pine Hills on 40, North Pine on 37, Logan Metro in 4th. They have 2 matches to play. So let's see who
they're playing right now, actually, against Slacks Creek, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the final match is Newmarket up against North Pine. So massive game. So no gimme there for Newmarket.
No.
And Pine Hills, see if you can beat me there, Chris. Who are they playing? They've got...
I think it's Karina. Yeah.
All right. So this is a ding-dong competition. The league is up for grabs. Pine Hills have the advantage goal difference-wise. So if they manage to draw on points, then the title will go to Pine Hills. But it's in Newmarket's hands. If they can secure a point against North Pine, and the league is theirs. And been the top team all season, haven't they? So it'd be crushing for them to lose it on the final day.
I think, like I spoke to Josh after they beat us 2 weeks ago at our place about just how much I thought it was, genuinely well done to those guys at Newmarket. Like they've genuinely been the hardest team to break down all year. We had more luck breaking down Pine Hills, who are well known as being the star-studded team in the league. They're tough to break down and they're really well coached. So, I said to him after the game, I was like, I've got so much time for what they're doing at Newmarket. And with the tough year they've had, with what went on in the middle of the year, the father who passed away, they're a great club. And I play cricket with one of the boys who plays there, and he can't speak highly enough of the club and what they get up to there. So I know their canteen's really good too. So I'm truly pretty happy to see a bit of a different team, doing well, because often, it's pretty much the same teams who seem to do quite well in these competitions. But yeah, well done to them, honestly.
Definitely. Now, looking at the other fixtures, Ripley Valley are hosting Slacks Creek. Moggill, you've got Logan Metro, so massive game there, and Ipswich City up against New Farm. Logan Metro, so yeah, how did you go last time against those guys?
Well, we beat them in the semi-final of the Canale, which is always sweet, especially at their place. Look, I think they're going through a few interesting changes. I think Tinashe, their keeper, who really drove them out of their end, like his kicking game is just ridiculous. I think he's moved on to the Defence Force, I believe. So that shuffles their cards a little bit. Mind you, they're still a quality outfit. There's absolutely no denying that. They have squad depth, like, absolutely unreal amounts of squad depth. So it'll be interesting. I think they'll be fired up because they really wanted that Canale Cup final. So, look, if we can get a win on the board and go 3 wins on the trot leading into that big final, I think that's where we want to be, and really push Ripley for that 5th spot. I think I'd be surprised if Slacks were to go and win against them. Ripley, just really big, solid team. I thought we played really well last night. Actually, we didn't allow them to bully us too much in the box, and we were really smart with our decisions. So yeah, I think we're coming into a little bit of a good patch of form, which is really good with the final coming up. So I'm looking forward to Logan. They've always got a little bit of spice, a little bit of tricks up their sleeve. They're usually pretty skilled. So yeah, it's always good fun.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for that, Chris. Now let's move on to Bilge Law Capital League 2 and our 2 guests that we've got tonight. We've got Gil and Scott. Guys, bring me up to date. So we've got Clevo have got 2 matches left to play, but North Brisbane have won the league. That was secured on the weekend. The battle is still for those semi-final places. So Clevo, 34, having played 16 matches. Redcliffe PCYC on 32, having played 17, and Bardon Latrobe on 29. So Gil,
those last 2, the result from Bardon Redcliffe on the weekend is incorrect in the system.
was it?
Yeah, I've not bothered to alert Football Queensland. I'll let Redcliffe do that. So it should be Redcliffe 35 points up into 2nd, and then we're back on 26 points.
Right. Oh, that's way wrong then.
Yeah, it was a true 6-pointer.
All right. So are you still is there still a chance that Oxley can overtake you for that final 4th spot? I don't think so.
No, we're locked into 4th.
Locked into 4th.
After they lost to North Brisbane on the weekend. So yeah, we've got 2 games to come. We've got this week and then a catch up versus Clevo. And then, finals after that. But we're locked in. Can't finish 3rd, can't finish 5th.
So what do you do for the remaining fixtures? Do you shuffle your pack a bit?
Maybe. We've got North Brisbane this weekend, who we will play in the first week of finals. So I guess it's a good time to get ready for that. We beat them first time out. We'll be playing at home this time, which will make it a little bit different. And then Clevo the week after. So if nothing else, we can try and influence that 2nd promotion spot.
All right. Scott, the Springfield, 6th place. He could finish as low as 7th. But 5th is still possible as well. So mid-table obscurity is well and truly yours, sir.
Yes, indeed. I think if you look at our second half of the season, I said this last week, look, the honest truth is, I think that the season ended for us at the halfway mark, really. And that's okay. Look, it's the first year in this new level, and mid-table's okay. Next season, with respect, it won't be okay for us. We'll be trying to push higher. But and like I said to you last week, we've got some news to announce about that in a couple of weeks, but we'll wait till the season's done, obviously. Oxley and Willowburn are pretty much the same standard as us, to be honest with you. So they have to play each other this week. That's going to affect things a little bit. And then Willowburn playing Narangba, everyone's favourite team, of course. And we have them as well, technically this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how the season finishes, the bottom half of that table. Obviously, we know that next season we have Slacks coming into our level from the level above, and we have Tarragini and Jimboomba currently coming in. So if you look at who's going to go up, it's going to be North Brisbane and one of Clevo or Redcliffe. Clevo falling over against West Side. I don't know what happened there. I don't think anyone would have picked that, to be honest with you, but it has opened up the division wonderfully well. And of course, as I said earlier to you off camera, Bard are going to be the kingmakers here, potentially. So look, I think fair play to them. I think, it'd be very hard on Clevo if they were second the whole season and didn't make it up. That's all I'm going to say, because they've been very, very steady all year. But this Redcliffe team, and I said this weeks ago, are coming home with a real sale. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting to see which one of those two gets up. And given the announcement that's been on the forum this week about Redcliffe, it'll be interesting to see if they go up and stay up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Matt McKay joining the club.
Apparently,
I think
yes.
there might be. I think it might have been a bit of a game,
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. That was my view. That was my view. But yeah, but who knows?
But I mean, I think it'll be a really interesting game between the two this weekend. If Redcliffe win, and it's at Redcliffe, then they sew up second before the last week. They'll be 4 points clear of Clairvaux. If it's a draw or a Clairvaux win, I guess it goes through to the catch-up game against us the week after.
That's right.
So, but I think it would be if it wasn't such a drive, I'd probably try and trek out there to have a watch, because I think it would be a really good game. Maybe I'll tune into Fox's TV and catch that.
Fox's TV. Oh, dear.
It'll be a really good game. I think Redcliffe are probably the best attacking team that we've played all season, and not just because they put a lot past us on the weekend. And Clairvaux have probably been the best defence we've come up against. So we really struggled to create against them. So it'll be a really good game. And the team that wins will really deserve to go up, I think.
It's been a tough division to call, isn't it? A lot of people are beating each other. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Question for you, Scott. Have you the club was in Cap 3 last season. Have you noticed the quality difference now that you're in Cap 2?
There is a little bit of, I suppose, a slightly more clinical in front of goal. I think that's the honest truth. I think in terms of depth, you're probably more likely to see it in the reserve level than you are in the top level. Does that make sense? I think it's the strength and depth in each squad more than the individual ability. Because if you look at Cap 3, last year there were some serious guns running around in that level. There's in each team, but you also had a vast range, a huge range of abilities in the one team. Whereas I suppose Cap 2, you got more of a consistent team. Does that make sense?
Certainly does.
Yeah, I think there's no one person that's really stood out for me this year in Cap 2. I'll be honest with you. But just the strength and depth, it's more of a team effort in Cap 2, I think. Whereas Cap 3 can get away with 2 or 3 really, really good individuals in the team, and they'll carry you through.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think you need. There's one team in the division in particular that obviously made some big signings, I guess, at the start of the season, and they're towards the foot of the table at the moment. And I think the difference between their top end and the bottom end is part of that. It's not the only reason, I'm sure, but it's definitely part of it. And you got a team like, I guess, North Brisbane and Clairvaux and Redcliffe are really, really solid across the whole squad. They don't necessarily have weaknesses. And something I've found this year, third year into the same league, is that you can't have 13 or 14 players that you expect to be first team players and push for a final spot. You need 18 to 20. And that's probably where I've been this year. And we've pushed to the top 4 for that, but it takes 18 players. It doesn't take 4.
I'll be genuinely interested to see how North Brisbane and either Clairvaux or Redcliffe go in the division above. If they have the similar squad and they go in, assuming they don't recruit heavily, how they would go up against Ripley, Moggill, all the other teams that are still going to be there. That'll be interesting to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly have a look at Village Law Capital League 3. Tarragindi, of course, are the league champions. We've got Jimboomba in second place, Brighton in third, Pine Rivers in fourth, Bethania in fifth. Now, by my reckoning, Bethania, Pine Rivers can still swap places. Brighton and Jimboomba can still swap places. I think Brighton had a
play each other this weekend by the looks of it.
Let's quickly go to those fixtures. So yes, Jimboomba up against Brighton. Huge game. That's at Currajong Park. Ridge Hills up against Logan Village. Tarragindi taking on Bethania. Teviot Downs against Deception Bay. And Park Ridge against Pine Rivers. Guys, is there anything that we need to talk about in that competition?
Not really. It's nice to see Jimboomba come up. I'll be honest with you. They've been there or thereabouts for a long time now, down at that level. And it's nice to see them come up. I feel a bit sorry for Bethania because they always just miss out. You know what I mean? And Bethania have been a decent team for a fairly long time. And for whichever reason, don't quite get across the lineup. Don't quite understand what happens there. Do you know what I mean? But they've got some good young players coming through that system there. So yeah, look, I'm not sure why they haven't done a little bit better. Logan Village are the real disappointment for me. I don't know why they haven't done better than they have. Given the signings they put together at the beginning of the year, I appreciate there's been some injuries, but still there must be a lack of depth there, perhaps. I don't know. You know, I'm not in a position to speak about that, but I had them down for potentially going up this year, and that shows you how off my tips are. You know what I mean?
So you did mention, I mean, Brighton are taking on Jimboomba. If Brighton can win, they will overtake Jimboomba for that promotion spot.
Yeah, exactly. They got some good young players up there. We played them in the cup last year, and I was really genuinely impressed with some of the young lads that are fielding in that game. And look, it's great to see them come back. You know, it is. So that's a real battle. That's a real battle. I mean, Corridon Park, home advantage. It's not a hostile environment. It's probably the wrong word, but you know the crowd are there. Put it that way. I think that might get Jimboomba over the line this time. But yeah, it's something to play for.
Brighton have been in second, I think, for a fair chunk of the season. So
yeah.
I think the results the last couple of weeks have seen them maybe drop a little bit. We played them in the cup this season, and they were a really good young team. A lot of pace, moved the ball really quickly. They were a lot of fun to play against. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know anything about Jimboomba, but I certainly would like to see Brighton get up, I guess, in that, yeah, it's a good team to play against, to play good football. And it's nice to see Tarragindi come up from a travel perspective, if nothing else. That's
absolutely, yeah.
That's really
I'm sure Kevin will like that. Yeah, exactly. No, I must admit, look, we've had a few ding-dong battles with Jimboomba over the years, and they bring it. They bring it on game day. They're physical. You know what's coming. You know that country welcome's there for you, and yeah, you know, look, they'll give Brighton all the trouble they want. Trust me.
I have to say, I'm quite pleased to see Pine Rivers doing so well in the competition.
Yes.
They had, you know, the massive debts, massive issues, and it's a great facility there. And for them to you know, raise the club up from the dead and get them going again, it's great to see.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's our run through the leagues, guys. I've got one question for you before we go. I'm going to ask this in all the shows that we've been doing this week. On our page, we've got a poll for the referee of the year. Here's your chance to get in someone's good books. Who's the best referee that you reckon is going around at the moment?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'll let you take this one, Gilbert, first.
Oh, geez. Well, I nominated one of the referees in there, which I'm not sure the Capital coach should be doing. But anyway, Dale Price has refed us quite a few times this season. I don't think we've ever had him before this season. And we've had him away and at home a bunch of times. And he's someone who can communicate really well with the players, which is, I think, as much as anything, the big difference between a good experience and a bad experience with referees is someone who can communicate, keep control of the game, have a laugh with the players when the moment calls for it. And we've found that with him this year, which has been a welcome change from a lot of other ref experiences we've had.
That's very delicately put. I like that.
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
Look, we've had a bit to do with Terry Tumbus this year. He's always good fun. Look, Callum Harvey, he's a good boy. You know, there's 5 or 6 that we could pick on there. We've been quite lucky out at Springfield. I think we've had 3 refs a lot of the time, which is really good. But also, I think we've had a good general standard of refereeing across the board. So rather than pick one individual out, I think I'll have to go away and think about that because there's 5 or 6 that I can think of straight away. I'm just happy that the consistency has been there this year. Do you know what I mean? And a bit more common sense, I think, which has been nice to see. Yeah, look, like I say, and I think one thing I would say about the mid-year switchover is that I was expecting the refereeing standards to dip, and it hasn't happened in our experience. So look, yeah, I'm really happy with how things have gone. But I think Callum will be up there for me at the moment.
And Chris Nelson, are you still there?
I think he's gone.
I think he's gone.
He's gone. It's just the three of us.
It's the three of us.
Very good. It's funny that, we did the Gold Coast show and that theme comes up every time. Communication. The referees, you don't need to get it right. You just need to be the best communicator and people will understand.
Well, that's right. That communication is key, isn't it? I mean, I think that's the thing. If there's an ebb and a flow to the game, the players respect that. If you don't have to explain the minutiae of every decision that you make, but it is a question of explaining things on the run and, just being as consistent as you can be with your calls. And not everyone's going to like everything you say, but it's important that you are consistent. I think that's the most important thing as well. Yeah.
The first time I saw Alex King referee was in a Cap 1 match, or even might have even been Cap 2 at Annerley. And he was, had his just come down from the Sunshine Coast. He had his, long surfy hair, and he was, running around the pitch. And the players thought, oh, okay, here we go. Here's someone that we can have a go at. But every time someone raised a question, he would explain his decision, and you could see the level of respect go from where are we? From there to there. There it is. He won them over by the end of the game, and in the end, he was boring them with his explanations of his decisions.
That's all to get on with it.
So they stopped. They stopped whinging about them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So, and it's comes as no surprise to see how well he's done for himself.
How do you find the dissent banners work this year for you in your club, Gilbert?
Well.
It's not a loaded question. It's a genuine question.
But it's more. Redcliffe were down to 9 players at one point, thanks to the dissent system on the weekend. Unfortunately, we managed to not score a goal in those 10 minutes.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, that's where the chuckles come from.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's been okay. It's probably inconsistency. From one week, you'll have people screaming and shouting and saying everything and nothing, and then the next week, someone will say something small and they'll be in the bin for 10 minutes.
Yeah, someone's tolerance level is different. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be a difference between it. It's never going to be 100% the same, but consistency across refs in lots of different things, I think is a bit of an issue. So
I think that's probably the one area I'm a little concerned about. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think that's the referee's issue. I think the referees at the end of the day have to implement that ruling, right? But it's about whether or not the tolerance levels are explained to the players, I think, at the beginning of the game. So this is what I'm expecting. This is what will happen if this happens. I'm not saying you need to go through an exhaustive flowchart of what will happen, but just, common sense. Everyone knows where the line is, don't they?
Yeah. And I think when I've seen it for and against us this season, it's probably been pretty clear. Pretty early on if there's going to be a referee who will make sure that box is ticked every single game and someone seems to get a dissent sin bin. And then other games where, you probably don't even think about the prospect of it happening because you don't really see them trying to warn people or tame things down or anything like that.
No, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. But it'll be interesting to see if Football Queensland are open to talking about rules of comp in the off season as well, for our level, and whether or not that's something that Dan wants to talk to some of the presidents about, like Football Brisbane did last year. I don't think that'd be a bad call because if the feedback is the same from 7, 8, 9 different people at different levels, then potentially they need to look at the ruling. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the off season.
I don't think it's a bad rule. I think a couple of times this season it's been unnecessary, but for the most part, probably the most annoying thing is maybe the couple of times the weirdness around it not counting as the second yellow card towards a red card, and whether or not having someone in the bin for 10 minutes is better than seeing them off the 30 at the end of the game and playing a man down. Not that it should be all about, what's better for the team that didn't have someone sin binned, but it's just a strange one to have someone be given a yellow card, a second yellow card and not be sent off. If it was bad enough to be a yellow card, then they do it twice, then they should be sent off.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. I thought they might try something like the blue card. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, apparently not. So it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good discussion. All right, guys, we might leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for letting us come in.
And to all the clubs on the weekend fighting out for those semi-final places and, of course, fighting out for the premierships, best of luck to you all. All right, That's the show. This is the Village Law SEQFC preview show. We will see you next week.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
See ya.